Hello there, and welcome to Sip and Style for this Tuesday, August 2nd. Wow, we are here in August already. So let me know who's here. Say hi in the chat, put your name in, or sign in through StreamYard so I can see your name and your photo. Good to have you here. I hope you loved the introduction video. I decided to play that for you to get you ready for what we're talking about, which is Showcase You. So I really wanted to give you a preview for next week's workshop, why it's so important to showcase yourself, and some of the things we're going to talk about next week in more detail. So when you close the gap between who you truly are on the inside and how you express yourself on the outside, this is when the magic happens. I just love that. I'm Dr. Shelley Nash. I'm a personal style coach, and my mission is to inspire women to express their authentic style and step into their feminine power. So if that is something you desire, then hang on, because we're going to talk more about that today. It's really time for you to showcase your authentic self and express yourself fully from the inside out. And this is how it happens. Hello, good to see you. Let me know where you're coming in from. And if you're here for the first time on a Sip and Style, we do Sip and Style every single Tuesday at this time. I think next week we're going to do it a little bit later though, because I have a coaching call at this time, because we have the other call that is the Showcase You in the morning. So things are going to get backed up, might change for next week, but around this time on Tuesdays is when we do our calls every week. And it's a different topic on style and how to develop your style from the inside out. So when I first started moving my coaching into style, what I was thinking about is that, you know, it's all about you really knowing who you are and expressing who you are with your clothes. So if you don't know who you are, you don't know what you want, you don't know where you're going, then it's really hard to express yourself in your clothing. So we really want to look at who we are, and how do we discover who we are? Well, most of what we are is based on how we're conditioned and programmed from the past, and from other people who didn't really know who we were, and they just told us things and led by example and did things in their world, and we picked up on that as we were growing up. So we developed this whole story in our lives about who we are. And much of that is not true. And much of that doesn't work for us really to get what it is we're going for or what it is we want. So these are some of the things I started thinking about. And then when I realized is that style is such an amazing thing, is that we can change our style and we can feel so much better. We can feel amazing for an event or for a day. And yet, if we don't change what's going on the inside, we tend to go back to the old ways of our style. We tend to go back to the old ways of our being. Whatever it is we're trying to change on the outside doesn't really have a permanent change unless we change the inside, unless we change our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions towards getting what it is what we want. So if you have any questions that pop up for you in the chat, put those down and I'll try to answer your questions as I go along here. It's meant to be an interactive time for us here. And so just a quick little chat. I hope you have your favorite drink. I have my water. I actually have a can of ginger brew here as well. Non-alcoholic, of course. And I'm sipping my way through this as well. So what's going to happen when you do this, showcasing you? You're going to start becoming a magnet for what it is you want in your life. And it's going to be so easy. You're even going to have to pinch yourself because you know how things work and they actually work. And you're starting to gain control of yourself and your life and really realize that the sky is the limit. And you'll probably be wishing that you had this information 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago. So you could have created more in your life, but we can't go back. We just have to go from right now. So the fact that you're here, the fact that you're learning this is great. And so if you're here live or if you're here in the replay, put hashtag replay so I know you've watched, and feel free to comment as if you're live. So we have this free 5-day workshop coming up next Monday, the 8th through the 12th. It's called Showcase You. And I realized that it's really the secret to health, happiness, and great style. And the secret to all of those really begins on the inside, and then they show up on the outside. Our health begins on the inside, what we're feeling, what we're thinking about, what actions we're taking towards our health. Our happiness is all based on our attitude, which is a combination of our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions. And great style really comes from knowing who you are on the inside and expressing that on the outside. So I have a friend, a really good friend that's a highly successful coach. She actually lives in Germany, and I was listening to something that a friend had sent me that she had recorded, and I picked out this one line and I wrote it down. And she said, "If you do the inner work, it can just be easy. If you do the inner work, it can just be easy." And so if you don't do the inner work towards creating what it is you want, it can be difficult. You can struggle. You can force things. You can work harder and harder and harder. It can seem like it's never going to happen. But when you do the inner work, it can just be easy. So that's my friend Catherine. And that's just really a great motto to have. I listen to a lot of Abraham Hicks, and she talks about giving people an easy button that they have at Staples. And she found this box of easy buttons she had given to some people that she went on a cruise with. And so she put all those easy buttons all over her house to remind her that it can just be easy when you're in flow. So your health, your happiness, and your great style can be easy when you're in flow, when you're working on the inside and allowing yourself to shine, to be able to showcase all that inner work that you've done. So it's such an exciting process, and sometimes when you're in the inner work, it is not necessarily that easy, but it always pays off. It always pays off, because sometimes when we have to reflect on ourselves, reflect on our patterns, reflect on things that have happened in our life, it's not always easy to look at that, but it's really to gain awareness and to release all the old that's not working, and to bring in new ideas and new concepts of who you are and what you want to become in your life, your goals you want to achieve. So really, when you get yourself right, that's when the magic happens. And I have these 3 words that I thought, what would a first-class woman be? What would a confident woman be? How would she be? What are the qualities that she would have? If you're showcasing yourself, what are the qualities that you would have or need to have in order to make that happen? And I imagine that you would be empowered from the inside out. You'd be certain of who you are, certain of where you're going, certain of what you want, certain of everything that you do. And then you'd be stylish. You'd be stylish automatically, because you'd be you'd be radiating this energy from the core of who you are to the outside world. And that would reflect in all of your style, no matter how you dressed. And that energy would be something that people would pick up on when you go out into the world. So you'll begin to showcase your authentic self in ways that help you feel free, joyful, and more ecstatic than you've ever felt in your entire life. Your eyes will be open to new possibilities and new levels of awareness that you've never felt before. And you'll be excited about your life and where you're going. And you'll feel that passion bubble up from deep, deep inside of you. I feel like we often stop ourselves from dreaming about possibilities. We hold ourselves back, and we've learned how to do that. We've put layers and layers of protection on top of ourselves to keep ourselves safe, to keep ourselves feeling comfortable. But those layers and layers we've put on are also covering up your authentic self, the truth of who you are, and keeping you from shining brightly. So I like to think of just ripping off those layers, layer by layer by layer. And the more you get to the core, to the root of who you are, then you will just begin to shine so brightly that you won't be able to stop, in anything that you're going for. So make sure to put your questions in the chat if you have any questions that come up for you during today's Sip and Style. I wanted to just briefly go through next week's class. That's a 5-day free workshop beginning Monday, August 8th through the 12th. And will be about an hour each day at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now, we're going to go through each day. I'm going to give you a little bit about each day. So day 1 is called Style Roadmap for Success. So anytime you're going somewhere, you want to know where you are, where you're starting from. So you want to look at your current style and your current results, basically. And then you also want to know where you're going. You get out the map and you set a goal, like I'm going to go here. So looking at where you are and where you're going. And sometimes what holds you back from where you're going is the gap in between, which is the things that hold you back, the thoughts that hold you back, the thoughts and the inner conversation that you have about yourself. Maybe some of those inner conversations that aren't even true, that you heard from other people, about style or about success. So we really want to set the plan, make a plan for where you're going and how you're going to get there. And we don't need to know how you're going to get there, but you want to make a plan, make a strategy, and then begin on the plan. And then those plans will change along the way. Anytime you set a goal, you want to get to the first base camp of that goal and reevaluate and set a new goal, or maybe set a new plan or strategy to get to the next level of the goal you're going for. So we talk a lot about goals, purpose, and vision during this day, and really looking at what are the thoughts and beliefs that you have that hold you back from going forward in your life. And then day 2, we're going to talk about inner style transformation. And this is what my friend said: when you do the inner work, everything can be so easy. But what is it to go through an inner style transformation? This is talking about things like what is the inner chatter that you have going on, that inner self-critic that continues to hold you back. Maybe there's somebody that you need to let go of in your life. Maybe there's some feelings of anger and resentment towards someone that you need to let go of in your life. And self-love is also so important. How much more can you give yourself love and acceptance? Accepting your body for where it's at today. Oftentimes I hear from women that they want to lose weight before they work on their wardrobe. And this is such the wrong way to look at it, because the only moment you have is now. And so if you keep thinking about this now moment and how you can feel better in this now moment and look better in this now moment, then you'll continue to go into your life living in the moment rather than waiting for the time when you're going to lose the weight. This is such a trap. It not only makes you wait, but it makes you feel bad about yourself for where you're at right now. and your body and your body image. So learning to love yourself exactly where you are right now. And there's ways that you can dress yourself where you can look 20, 30 pounds lighter just because you're dressing yourself in a way that does that for you, especially in photos. You know, you can have a photo shoot and look 20, 30 pounds lighter without even changing or losing an ounce. But I find that working on an outer style needs to happen almost before you can lose weight. I feel like unless and until you love yourself where you're at now, then that weight is never going to come off. And if it does come off, it's going to come back on. So loving yourself is so important part of your inner style transformation. And then we go into day 3, which is the art of self-expression. Maybe some of you, maybe some of you were on the masterclass I did last month on the art of self-expression. Really, if you're not expressing yourself fully, you're automatically suppressing yourself. And suppression is what leads to illness and dis-ease. It leads to disharmony in the body. It leads to anxiety and depression and all kinds of things that are in a negative polarity. So you really want to keep this expression, this movement of expression of who you really are going, you know, keep that flow going, keep growing in your life. So self-expression and your self-image are so important in your inner style transformation. We learned that you have 2 images of yourself. You have the image you project to the outside world and the image of how you see yourself on the inside. And that inner image is often related to your early life, how you were conditioned and programmed in your early life. And so those people that conditioned you and programmed you in your early life, your parents, your grandparents, your aunts, your uncles, your teachers, didn't really realize they were doing that, didn't do anything wrong. It's just how your mind works. Your mind is open and receptive at your early life from 0 to 6 years old. So you're like a sponge and you just take everything on that's around you. You take it on as if it's true. And it's as if it's true for you. And it may not even be true for the people that are impressing it on you. But you take it in as true. And so that's your inner self-image. Your inner self-image is created pretty much fully by the time you're 18 years old. Like 98% of your thoughts, your behaviors, your attitudes, everything you believe is formed by the time you're 18 years old. And it's pretty much like a computer program within you. You run off of that for your entire life. And most people do, unless you change it, unless you become consciously aware that this is how you are programmed. This is a way you're programmed that's not working for you. And how can you change that programming? So this is a big part of what we do in my coaching program, Style Your Life. We get into reprogramming you, getting you to write a new script of the new you. How does she walk, talk, dress, act, behave, and show up? How does she show up on Zoom calls? How does she show up on lives? You know, what does she wear to the grocery store? All the different things that you're doing in your life as the new you. And so then back to the 5-day workshop next week, we then go into day 4, which is making space for what you desire. And this is true in all areas of your life. If you think about wanting a relationship, well, if you want a relationship, how open are you to a relationship? A love relationship, a friend relationship, any kind of relationship. How open are you for it? If you want a romantic relationship, do you leave space and time in your calendar for those types of activities? Do you leave some space in your closet for another person's clothes? You know, opening up space for what it is you desire. We specifically here talk about your closet and making room in your closet for the clothes you desire, for the image you desire to have to move into that closet, to becoming that woman, so that everything in your closet when you pick from your closet, you can't go wrong because everything in there is aligned with who you are becoming. And it's just such a great process to learn. And so we'll talk about cleaning out your closet and also re-merchandising your closet once you get it cleaned out. Looking at how can you rework things? How can you match this thing with this other thing that you never wore it with before, but it actually looks really cute. It creates a whole new outfit. I haven't posted it here yet, but I will post it in this group. I bought just a few extra things to kind of go with the new style that I'm going for. And then I used some of the things that I already have in my closet, and I created so many new outfits with the same pants and just different tops, different shoes, wrapping it around, the same sort of look, but all these new outfits because I'd only just purchased a couple new things and I had shifted the feel of the look that I'm going for. So re-merchandising, thinking about your clothes in a new way so that you can put together new outfits with what you already have. And you may not even need to buy that many new things in order to have a completely new wardrobe. So then in day 5, we get into what's called showcasing your personality and your potential. And this also links back to what I've been talking about in the very beginning, is that you're going to showcase who you are, who you are, your authentic self, your true self, which you need to discover. And that's a continual process. I think that's a process that we go through our entire life, continuing to discover and see how much more we can be, how much more we can do with our lives. It's never ending. And when you discover this, that you keep growing, if you're not growing, you're decaying. So we want to keep growing. We want to keep moving. What else would you want to do? Maybe you want to try some pottery. Maybe you want to try doing some painting. Maybe you want to try dancing. Maybe you want to try acting. What more can you do that's in your personality, that's actually part of who you are and how you're supposed to express yourself in the world? I do believe that we're all here for a purpose, that we came in with a mission, and that is something for us to discover as well. So when you learn to showcase your personality and who you are, and with your style, with your outer clothing, and making sure they're a fit, they're a good match. And one way to know this is that you feel amazing. You feel like yourself in the clothing that you're wearing. You feel amazing. You feel like on top of the world. You feel like $1 million. You feel really happy when you're wearing the right clothing. It just feels like you. And then we also want you to showcase your potential, where it is you're going, your goals that you're going for, your goals that you're reaching for. I talked about the 2 images that you have. You have the inner image, you have the outer image that you're projecting to the world. You want to make sure those are congruent, that you don't feel like an imposter in your life, and that you feel like you're there in your life. And then anytime you set a goal, that goal is going to be outside of your comfort zone. So in that goal that you have for yourself, you're going to walk, talk, dress differently. And how is that going to be? And so what are the next levels of your style that you're going to add in that are going to be for your potential, be for the woman you're becoming? So you want to be able to hook all of that together, express your authentic style, and step into your feminine power. Now, we have feminine and masculine within us, within each of us. And yet I think that as women, we've tended to not use our feminine power fully. And so that's what I mean by that. We also use our masculine power at times. We use our feminine power at times. If you think about it, feminine power is what I just said. It's like being in the flow, not forcing things, allowing things to happen. When you do the inner work, your life happens much more easily. So that's more feminine. Masculine is like doing your daily tasks, making sure that you do certain things in a certain way throughout the day. That's a very masculine energy. And so how can you bring balance to both of those in your life? So you're really showcasing who you are and your potential at the same time. You know, one of the things that I've learned through mindset work is that if you just change a behavior, if you say you're trying to lose weight and you change how you eat, you change the food that you eat, you change the calories that you eat, you know, you're going to lose weight. Maybe you're exercising more, you're going to lose weight. But if you don't change the source of the problem, which might also be how you think about yourself, what you say to yourself, your beliefs you have about yourself, your beliefs about your body, the image of your body that you have. Maybe you have a skinny image or a fat image. You know, you have to change the image. You have to change the source. Maybe some of the emotions or the resentment or anger you have, the reasons why you eat. Just the other day, I was like, I'm very aware that I'm emotionally eating right now. This was a pattern for me for a long time, emotional eating. And it's something that can just pop back up in a moment, because if I don't have the complete wiring changed from the habit, the original habit of emotional eating. So you have to get to the source to make permanent changes in your life. And then, you're going to have such an easier time, because you're going to be really rooting out the problem. This is why they say, so here's another example that I just had the other day. I was getting a manicure and I said to the lady, my cuticles, they grow so fast. And she said, has anyone ever fully cut them off? And I was like, I don't know. I don't think so. No one has ever fully cut them off. And she said, well, I'm going to fully cut them off, and we're going to see if they grow back as fast. And I was like, she's getting to the root of the problem. Other people would just push them back a little, kind of cut off the surface, and then they would grow really fast back. But now it feels like my nails are completely different, because she cut off all the cuticle and she got to the root of it. So this is what I'm saying. You got to get to the root, the source. In my chiropractic work, I would always do this. We get to the nervous system. We get the nervous system flowing, and the body heals itself. With acupuncture, we get the energy flowing in the body heals itself. So same with you, you get your passion, your truest self, your energy from self to source flowing through your body, and everything else is going to work out much better for you. So I hope this has made sense for you. Does anyone have any questions? Put them in the chat. I want to invite you to join me for the entire 5-day workshop, Showcase You, next week, August 8th through the 12th. I have a link here I can show you. It's actually pretty simple to remember. It's just bit.ly Showcase You. You can register for the class. If you haven't registered yet, you will then get your free workbook for the class, have that printed out and ready to go for Monday. It's really going to guide you through the transformation that's necessary for you to showcase yourself from the inside out. And I know most of you love clothing, love style, love fashion at some level, or you wouldn't be in this group. And so this is really important for you to know. In order to change your outer style, we have to get to the root. We have to get the cause. We have to change some of the inner thinking, the inner process. And then changing the outside is going to be permanent. And we're just going to keep going and growing as you go for bigger and bigger goals. So let me get back to the comments and see if anyone has a question. I don't see a question. So if you're here on the replay, put #replay. Any questions that you have in the replay, feel free to message me. As always, I always am available for a free style analysis call with you to see if now is a good time for you to coach through the Style Your Life program and really dive deep into all of this. So with that, I thank you for being on our Sip and Style today. I will see you next week at the workshop and next week at a later time for Sip and Style. So we'll talk to you soon. Bye.